Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for our joint webinar where our experts will help you understand how RPA complements intelligent automation through some use cases for different industries and verticals. My name is Archana and I will be your host and moderator for today's webinar. If you have any questions or have trouble hearing or viewing the webinar at any point in time, please let us know in the question window that you can see on the right hand side of your screen. You can also post your questions or any comments in the same anytime during the presentation. We have a dedicated slot to answer all of your questions once the webinar and the presentation is completed. Now, let me welcome you, the guest speaker of today's webinar. Joining us today is our guest speaker, Holly Tripp. Holly is Senior Manager, Customer Success Strategic Accounts at Automation Anywhere. We also have our RPA expert, Asif Hussain. Asif is RPA Practice Head at Royal Cyber. Now I will quickly touch upon the agenda of today's webinar. So what exactly are you going to learn from this webinar? First, how RPA at a forefront of intelligent automation. What mix of technologies makes intelligent automation? What relevant use cases and services are required to implement and maintain a successful automation practice? What opportunities do you have to drive enterprise automation strategy for future hybrid workforce? How to steer the course of your business to digital transformation? So that is what you're going to learn in this webinar. Now let's quickly start off with a brief introduction of who we are and what exactly do we do. So Royal Cyber is an IT consulting and digital transformation company specializing in services, solutions, and softwares. And it has been innovating since 2002 with 1,000 plus employees and 600 plus happy customers worldwide. Across the globe, Royal Cyber provides reliable and high-performing solutions and services in commerce, cloud, mobile AI, RPA, and middleware integration. Being headquartered in Naperville, Illinois, we have offices located in different parts of the world, namely Canada, Mexico, Australia, UK, Saudi Arabia, and we also have our delivery centers in India and Pakistan. We have the ability to design strategies to modernize, expand, and build value to deliver impactful journeys for our clients and create a 360-degree value across their digital transformation journey. When I talk about our RPA practice, we have certified RPA professionals and extensive experience in process automation consulting. We provide solutions using the expertise of our multidisciplinary and highly trained professionals, which allow us to fully understand what our clients need and opportunities with respect to RPA. And with that, now I would like to hand over the session to our guest speaker for today. Holly, over to you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Holly Tripp. I am a customer success manager here at Automation Anywhere. And I've been with Automation Anywhere now for over 4 years. And automation is one of those things that is top of mind, for every CIO. But as I see it, it's really every business leader, large and small, in any organization. Let's see, next slide, there we go. So there's some big themes out there that organizations like Gartner are tracking. They call it hyperautomation. Gartner likes to say that hyperautomation is irreversible and inevitable. And in the end, everything that can and should be automated will be automated. We've all seen how technology can really augment our lives, and inevitably it has its way. So some of the trends, as we talked about, hyperautomation has been the #1 tech trend that Gartner's been tracking for the past 2 years. And I think we could all expect that to continue because automation is defining the future of our work. When they look at traditional occupations, they can see that 30% of work can be fully automated. This will ultimately save trillions of dollars for the economy. These are the things that, as I said, the CIO might be perking up about. And enabling that scale in the economy. So robotics, AI, smart automation have the potential to contribute trillions of dollars towards our economy. But setting aside these grand themes of the analysts of the world, the CIO's reality down on the ground is legacy applications, automation silos in its lines of business. We've got a lot of manual work with mounting pressures to do more with less. We are all seeing how there's volatility of work. It was certainly punctuated with the pandemic, but we all feel it at the end of a quarter when we need to close the books, or with the impacts of things like inflation that are hitting our market right now. So with those silo applications, with humans transferring data manually, this puts a lot of pressure on all those pain points. And of course, we're all human. We can make errors, and we can at times do things slower than they need to be done. So automation brings value to the business. It's not a way to replace human workers, but it's really a way to improve the experience and improve the effectiveness of work. So very straightforward automation, as we all can think of it this way, improves accuracy. If you remove some of the human work, you're going to improve accuracy by applying bots to that work. It'll increase efficiency. So let's streamline business processes. Of course, we want to streamline good processes. We don't want to just try to automate bad processes and set them aside. You want to increase efficiency on good processes so that you can then enable your humans to enhance their work experience, reducing their manual work and leveraging them up to higher value touch points with your end customers. Where are the exceptions? Where is the analytics that needed to be applied that humans can provide? And in the end, this enables our customers to increase their scalability. By joining forces with digital workers, your human associates can really augment where the business goes. So it's time to rethink how work gets done by applying automation. But first, let's talk about what a bot can do. RPA is an acronym that's put out there. That's Robotic Process Automation. And first and foremost, what is an automation not? It is not an actual robot. It's not a robot that you see in a factory. It's a software robot. It is something that is best served to things that are rules-based, that maybe a human can also do, that is high volume and transactional. That is a good candidate for robotic process automation. And you can design that process to toggle between a number of different solutions. I have some examples here. Maybe you have an email inbox that's monitored and it receives data with attachments that it can then extract. And it could maybe navigate now to your applications, SAP, Oracle, Salesforce, ServiceNow, to set search criteria and run reports. Possibly maybe it collects additional information from a web page. You can design your robotic process automation to open a web page and extract data. And one of our most common uses is Excel. This is a place where you have a lot of rules-based transactional information in Excel, and that is where you can apply automation. Sorry, the screen's touch slow as I advance our slides here. So some sample RPA functions as I back up with patience, that you might string together to make one of these automations. We talked about opening an email, log into a web page. When you string together these RPA functions, that's when you create a process. And those processes are the things that then handle those transactions, those large amounts of data. We'll get into some examples of how those can be put into the real world as we talk about examples later on, but it's the design of these processes, putting together these functions, that our partners like Royal Cyber really help our customers to design in a durable fashion in the most effective and efficient way. What does Automation Anywhere bring to the table? We bring the industry-leading capabilities, the software, to empower the design for those automations. We help our customers start with discovering their processes. We have a solution called Discovery Bot, and now recently augmented with a solution called Fortress IQ. Our customers can discover what should be automated, and frankly, what shouldn't be automated, or what should be applied to a different type of technology, so that you know who are your best candidates. An organization like Royal Cyber can then help you prioritize those candidates for the most return on investment or the quickest wins. But our discovery solution will help you to identify those and to outline those so that you can communicate between your business subject matter experts and ultimately your designers to turn those into automations. We also provide a solution called iQBot. iQBot is an industry-leading solution to digitize your undigitized data. So think invoices or order forms. We take that unstructured data and enable it for structure so that it can then be automated. Some of our key use cases within invoices, to use that example, you can imagine an invoice, you get from your suppliers. They have very common data points, but they all look very different. iQBot has the intelligence to learn as it goes. It becomes trained so that it can extract that unstructured data. And it's very agile and flexible as opposed to other built-in solutions that, scrape documents and read. It is flexible, agile, and it's also something that your business teams can work with. It doesn't require advanced developer skills to work with iQBot. And now the core of our solution is your RPA workspace. This is the workbench where all the magic happens, where the processes are designed. These processes could be designed by your development team, by our partners like Royal Cyber for some complex automations, but it is also a space where you can empower citizen developers. So smaller processes that maybe within a line of business need to be designed can also be done in that RPA workspace. We empower also the ability to create a human in the loop. So you can design an automation space for your, let's say, a call center employee so that they can call on an automation. That is the RPA workspace. That is the center of our offering. But we do flank that with Bot Insight. And this enables our centers of excellence and our business leads working with automation to see how their automations are performing, how frequently, what's the health. And then you can also tag those automations for value. So you can get business insights in addition, your return on investment. So it enables you to not only check the health of your bots with telemetry, but your return on investment with your business insights. So you can keep that involvement of your organization going by letting them know how much value it's providing back to the business. All right, setting the software and the themes aside, what really makes Automation Anywhere different? I think the number one value, especially that I see amidst my customers, is the ability for Automation Anywhere to deliver a cloud-native solution. This is big in the industry because it empowers my customers to move faster. They can stand up a solution faster. They can stand it up with a far less cost. In prior years, in prior solutions that don't have a cloud-based offering, this requires large servers to be set up and infrastructure to be maintained. We now make that frictionless for our customers. This is a lot of cost back into the cost of ownership of automation. And of course, this comes with it embedded with governance and security. And then we talked about citizen development support. So if you want to move fast and you want to expand out to, let's say, lower return on investment automations within just a line of business that a citizen development team might do, it's important to have lower total cost of ownership. A cloud solution is the foundation for that. And you can see here in the screenshot, I have an example of what the workbench looks like. It's friendly to those business developers in its drag and drop fashion, but of course we also provide the more traditional developer view as well. So the Automation Anywhere success platform enables you to build that digital workforce, transform your business processes. We do it with a trusted cloud solution, and we've empowered companies like Lilly to save $1.5 million within their first year of using automation. Boston Scientific has automated 50,000 processes. So this is no small endeavor if you don't want it to be. And you can do it quickly. Our customer, TaskUs, stood up their initial deployment within 4 weeks across 3,000 employees. So with that platform, As we talked about, we have the foundation of the cloud, we have intelligent automation apps, we have solutions that bring your human associates and your digital workers together. We bolster this with the community and the ecosystem to really enhance the experience of your human associates. That's really where the business value is. Whether it's using our solution we affectionately called ARI, this is the Automation Anywhere Robotic Interface. This enables a human associate to trigger an automation in the background. Let's say you're in that call center and now you need to change the address, for example, for your customer, and it needs to happen in 6 different places. ARI enables that service manager to make those changes with an automation, while they then engage with the customer at a higher level to learn more about that customer in a human-to-human way. And then there's the connected solutions. This is where we empower the team doing the design to do it better, whether it's leveraging connections we have pre-built with Salesforce or Google, or whether it's our technology partner community like Core AI. And of course, I can't say enough about the value to cloud. It allows you to scale to any capacity, whether it's 5,000 or 5 or 50,000 automations. We do this with public cloud solutions, both AWS and GCP. It's flexible, so we do have customers who also deploy this same drag and drop technology on premises as well, if need be. But there's trust. Our certifications are center to our ability to deliver this to some of the largest enterprises in the market. And then there's the community. The success that makes our customers is built into that community, whether it's leveraging Automation Anywhere University with over 200,000 certifications globally, or whether it's our 1 million community member strong organization that can collaborate together and learn more about how to do things with automation at their fingertips within our A-People community. And then, of course, we would be nowhere without our global partner ecosystem like Royal Cyber. It is this 2,400 and growing strong army of partners that really enable us to service our customers to true success. So whether it's the experience that we provide to your human associates, the connected capabilities that the solution provides to some of the industry leaders out there like a Google or Salesforce, the cloud native solution that enables our customers to move quickly and at scale with a lower total cost of ownership, and to do that with some of the most important certifications in our trust. And then finally, we'd be nowhere again without that success of keeping our customers up on the leading edge through our Automation Anywhere University and supported by our community of users and partners. When we talk to our customers and we engage, knowing that we have best-in-class security is something that the house securities and our corporate enterprise customers rely on so that they can then focus on what matters, which is transforming the organization, and do that with trust. We have a commitment to delivering to our customers at scale. So as a customer success manager, I get to work with my customers to find these places where they can gain the most to transform their journey. There are self-service resources, as well as that global community we've talked about. And then there's expert services. So a wide range of capabilities that you can take advantage of when you need them. Because your journey with automation is going to change. You might start with a typical area to start would be in finance. Stanley Black & Decker is an example here with invoice processing, which we've talked about. You're talking about a large amount of data. You may have outsourced that to a contract resource to process that data. You want to meet an SLA. That's a great place to start. But as you start to look at automation and understand, you can do very specific use cases, like the NHS uses it for oxygen monitoring. I mean, who would know? There's so many applications for automation, and when you engage your human associates along the journey, that is when you really start to transform your organization. So back to where you're going to automate. Intelligent automation use cases can be seen, as I mentioned, often in finance, but you'll see them in procurement, you'll see them in manufacturing. And working with Royal Cyber, you can prioritize your best candidates. Working with Automation Anywhere and our community of customers, you can understand better where you might gain the most benefits. And as you gain those benefits, you're going to move along your journey to scale. So as you start, you set up the product. This is quick and easy with our cloud solution. You're going to train and certify. This is at your fingertips and free with Automation Anywhere University. You develop that first bot into production, and this is where you're going to get some attention. And it happens fast. This is where you then start to get executive sponsorship so you can scale and work with more complex solutions, become more mature in your center of excellence. And then you can build on that to transform your organization by enabling your digital workers to be at the fingertips of your human associates. Sorry, it's a little slow. Oh, it's building out, I apologize. So in summary, we want to create an environment where your human associates are really, truly your knowledge workers. That's where the brain smarts and the brain trust is, to engage with your employees, with your customers at another level and empower them with digital assistance. Then in the background, you can have those large automations that lift and shift and swivel chair from application, large sets of data to really transform how finance, IT, HR, sales operations, or contact centers get work done. So if there's any questions, we can address those now, or we can move into some more detailed examples with Asif from Royal Cyber.
Thanks, Holly. Excellent overview and presentation about the automation in general, and of course, the part where you talked about sample RPA functions and intelligent automation use cases, because that's something that I'm gonna talk about. Like, I'll just pick 2 use cases that we automated for our customers and take a deeper dive into what we did for them. So let me get right into it. All right, so the first use case, this was for an organization who performing their core business was to manage account receivable and collection services, and the use case is about syncing the billing related information for patients from healthcare providers and the insurance providers. So the task was highly manual pre-automation, and there were like more than 10,000 of claims required to be either posted or synced for status from the end of the healthcare providers, and there were multiple applications that human user had to log into depending upon which insurance company the claim was made to, and uh, get the status about how much it was covered, how much it was not covered, or maybe it was totally declined. So all this information had to be fetched back and then updated into the systems of the collection company as well as uh, the healthcare providers. So if we see the process in a simplified manner, there was a list of patients and health from the healthcare providers received. This list had information about the patient as well as the process he or she had from the healthcare provider, along with the billing information. This information, some of it was posted into the insurance provider system, and based on the results received from that application, uh, records were updated and then posted back into the client system itself, and as well as to the uh, customer system of our client's customer, I mean the healthcare providers. So there were multiple challenges. One was that there was immense caseload, uh, and there were multiple insurance applications, as I told you earlier, that depended upon which insurance company you need to claim it from. And uh, the pressure of getting things posted and synced as soon as possible was another challenge, because anytime you lose in this is the time you lose in getting the money back. Uh, then there was accuracy issue because of the high speed work from the manual labor. There were always problems with the accuracy of data posted. And then there was HIPAA compliance and privacy issues, because uh, it was difficult to outsource offshore teams to uh, sync this data or punch in this data manually. So what we did, this is the kind of environment we built up. I will talk in detail like why there were multiple bot runners running in parallel, and we can also all understand there must be some developer interfaces, but there were multiple bot running interfaces working simultaneously. So the process started in a way like there were multiple files received from the healthcare providers, and each file is specifically for a specific insurance claim system. So depending upon the name of the file, bot can understand which insurance claim system it has to search this information in. And taking this information from each file, bot goes to different screens and search a specific claim from a specific patient, and pick up the status and what is the uh, amount approved, what is the amount not approved, and stuff like that. So this is a typical screen of one of the systems from where bot picks up information about whether the claim is denied or accepted or what is the other detail. And then in the end, bot is supposed to design is supposed to create a file with the results so that other systems can uh, import this file and uh, get in sync. So this is a sample of what the output file looks like. And this is a flow chart. I will not get into detail because it will become boring, but you can see only um, there are files that are saved by the customer of the receivable solutions for which we made the automation, and they put these files in at certain SFTP place from where the bot triggers and does everything automated. After the like pre-automation, there were like 380 claims in approximately processed by a single user in 8 hours shift. Our bot was able to perform the same process for over 1,000 claims in same 8 hours. That's 3 times the performance. But our bot does not have to stop after 8 hours like a human user. So it can keep on working for 24 hours and process almost around 3,500 cases. That's 9 times performance. Now, to further enhance the performance, what we did, we divided the bot into 2 segments. One is called dispatcher and the other is called performer. So what the dispatcher does, it goes into the SFTP files from the healthcare providers and picks up one file at a time, sees if it has more than 600 records. It means that it's a bigger file. It divides it into 3 segments. So it can be it it these 3 segments will have almost the same number of records. And then the dispatcher queues up each file to be picked up by performers. So each performer that is available to work, and when I say available to work means is not performing any other task, will pick up a queue item. That means we'll pick up one segment of the file and it starts processing, going into the claim processing application and getting all the required data from there. And then at the end, when it is done with all the records in the segment it was processing, it will put that resultant file in the resultant queue. When all the 3 segments are ready in the resultant queue, the dispatcher comes up again and merges all 3 result file segments into a single file so that there is one-to-one mapping for the input file with the output file. That's how we were able to uh, speed up the process and uh, enhance our performance even more 3 times. So working 3 bots in parallel made us get to the resultant file 27 times faster. That is like over 10,000 claims a day. And that's what's the target. They were getting before the automation around 10,000 claims a day, and they were not able to keep up the pace manually. The second use case, if you have any questions about the first use case, you can type in the chat section and we can answer you in the end. I'm moving towards the second use case real quick. It is about auto insurance claim processing. This was an automation that made auto insurance claim end-to-end uh, automated. And it's a very interesting case because it involves chatbot, it involves machine learning and RPA, as well as it involves digitization of uh, documents that are not digitized using IQbot. So I'll just move towards the case. Customer comes up and interacts with the chatbot. This is a chatbot that Royal Cyber built for this customer, and chatbot is capable of triggering RPA bots or Automation Anywhere bots using APIs. So Automation Anywhere provides interfaces not only to schedule a bot at a specific time or trigger a bot based on a file's presence or an email's receipt, it can also be triggered by API calls. So here what we did was, based on the chat requirement from the customer, it multiple bots or whatever the bot was required for a specific information to be fetched for chatbot, that particular RPA bot was triggered. And RPA bot at the back end was interacting with multiple systems like CRM and claim processing system or payment processing system and analytics. Furthermore, there were decisions that were involved. So we used machine learning algorithms to take those decisions. So let's take a simple use case that how this chatbot can interact and make the life easier. So a human user comes up at the chatbot using the insurance company's app or maybe at the website, and let's suppose clicks that he or she wants to initiate a claim. Uh, the bot asks for a policy number. Let's suppose customer does not have a policy number handy, and he can say, I don't have a policy number, and bot can take him to another direction that, okay, what is your last 4 digits of the social security number, or maybe the registration number of your, or license plate number. So based on any information that it can get to the right policy, bot can ask those questions. For simplicity here, the human user provided the insurance policy number. Upon receiving the insurance policy number, the chatbot triggers an API call to the RPA bot, and the RPA bot, or the Automation Anywhere bot, logs into the car insurance backend system, and searches that policy in that system, and it is able to find a specific policy. It clicks on that, the bot clicks on that policy uh, to be able to read details of this policy. So you can see that there are 2 vehicles insured under this policy. So next question is, since the bot replies to the chat bot that there are these 2 vehicles insured under this policy, which of these vehicles actually got an accident? So the chatbot accordingly shows, okay, these are the vehicles for which do you want to initiate this claim. The customer, let's suppose, chooses one, and this feedback is then again transferred to the chat from the chatbot to the RPA bot and taken to the backend application. And then in this case, there are 2 drivers also insured under this policy. So in the same way, the names of those 2 drivers are displayed on the chatbot, taken from the application through RPA and to transfer to the chatbot. And the claimant can click on the user or the driver who actually was driving while the accident occurred. Now, the chatbot is showing a confirmation screen that, okay, this is the policy you're talking about. Uh, Now it's asking, is there a police report? If the customer says yes, that's a strong point for the authenticity of the claim. If he says no, then it's likely not a claim that can be end-to-end processed automatically. So there can be paths changed in this way. So for instance, the person says yes, the bot says upload the picture or a scanned copy of the police report. Let's suppose the customer uploads a police report. Here, the police report is not a digital document. The information is not readable easily here. It's an image. IQBot receives this image from the chatbot to the RPA bot, and from the RPA bot to the IQBot, and IQBot is capable of reading this information from this police report and take, giving it back to the RPA bot, which can fill the right forms in the application and in the backend application it wants to fill it. The chatbot asks for further questions that are required for the machine learning algorithm to be able to determine how likely it is a fraud. So there are multiple questions. I've just kept it simple here, not showing all of those questions. And they can, of course, be changed based on the database you are building your machine learning on. Uh, so let's suppose, based on whatever the chatbot asks, there are 2 ways of handling it. Either chatbot can directly call the API for the machine learning algorithm, or it can again call the RPA, and RPA can call the API for the machine learning algorithm. Based on the configuration of whatever score you have set as a threshold for likelihood of fraud or not fraud, it can take a decision that how likely it is a fraud. If it is likely a fraud, no further automated claim processing should be suggested, and the messages can go like, a human case officer can contact you for further details and stuff like that, so that a person uh, trying to uh, file the claim can be kept satisfied. But uh, because we know that it can be a fraud, we don't want to process this end to end without a human intervention. Let's suppose the likelihood of a claim fraud is not that much, and we want to automate it end to end. So we can go on that path. Uh, this part of the process that is calling the machine learning algorithm is also optional. Many companies do not want to go to uh, this level yet. No, they don't want to decide based on machine learning algorithm, but this can be used as a decision or as a suggestion. All right, so let's suppose if the machine learning algorithm comes up that it's likely a valid claim, the bot goes for asking for the damaged car vehicle images, and the chatbot can guide the user to take the images for the damaged car. All right, so when the images are received, what this automation does, it sends these images for the damage assessment. So there are some damage assessment APIs available from some cloud providers that we can use to assess what parts of this vehicle look damaged. This cannot be the final uh, say or decision, but this can give you uh, an idea in an automated way. So let's suppose the sent images come up with some detail about uh, what part of this vehicle look damaged. Based on this output from the API, we can again send the information to the chatbot if required, and feed this information into the uh, insurance company's backend application. And finally, the claim is fully filed. There is a reference number. We can reply it back using the RPA bot to the chatbot, and chatbot can present it that this is the um, number for your reference for this claim, and this is the amount approved by the automated bot. This can be an estimate. And in the end, the bot is capable of creating a damage and estimate report and send it to whichever may need to have it. So if you have any questions about any of the use cases, you can type in. I'm moving ahead with uh, an RPA Jumpstart program that Royal Cyber offers. I'll just quickly talk about it. There's this 6 weeks program where we assess and plan for the automation for uh, any process or multiple processes. With the help of our customer, we choose a pilot project implementation, and we also do knowledge transfer if required, if you want to go ahead with other processes or the completion of even this process later on by yourself. Um, so for the participants of this webinar, 2 weeks of complimentary service is included. Uh, you can jumpstart with 30% reduced price and just have an idea that how RPA can help you. And by a small pilot program, you will be also able to convince within your organization that how uh, RPA can be beneficial and where it can, looking at something working in an automated fashion will definitely be much more believing for anyone. You can contact at info@royalcyber.com for further details about this program or any other questions if you have. Archana,
I
will
can
you
start
take
off.
the Q&A session?
Yes. All right. So the Q&A session is now open. If you have any questions, you can drop those in the question bar that you can see on the right hand side of your screen. So let me just see how many questions have we gotten.
And as we wait for those, Archana, I'll just comment here that, what we saw with Asif's examples was really the first use case where you look at transactional based work. And this is where a lot of customers will start their journey, either it's large or small. We saw some really great benefits from that use case for transactional work. And then our customers tend to move into the front office where they really get that value in those segments, and where you really get a quality of experience either for your human associates as well as your customer users. So that journey of enabling automation to really enhance your end-to-end processes across the organization and transform is really great to see.
All right, looks like we have a first question from the audience. This one is, we started our RPA program about a year ago, and I'm curious about the Automation Anywhere tool. Are there separate tools, licensing for citizen devs and pro devs?
Yes, there is. So professional developers, we have what's called a bot creator. This enables those professional developers to both develop as well as run their automation so they can see what it looks like. And then ultimately, they then run that on what's called a bot runner license. It's often run on a schedule or, as Asif mentioned, on demand. But when we look at our citizen developers, we find it easier to give them more of an all-encompassing license because they're probably going to be running lighter touch departmental level automations. And we don't want them to have to log in and log out in order to run their automations. So we do provide an optional license of a citizen developer license type so that those can be simplified.
Okay, perfect. Asif, would you like to add something to that?
No, I think Holly covered it pretty well, and it's of course more related to Automation Anywhere. We don't charge anything for licensing.
Perfect. All right. Let me check the question window again. Okay, so we have our second question. This one, it's pretty short. Oh, I'm sorry, my screen, I guess it's freezing. Are you able to hear me out?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So, nope, looks like we don't have another the audience. All right. All right. So, any final thoughts that we want to share regarding the webinar and automation?
Well, I can share. I think that automation is one of those places where, as we talked about, you can start small or go big, and it's available at your fingertips. Automation Anywhere provides a community edition available for free right on our community. So feel free to go to automationanywhere.com and take a look at the community edition. Download it; it's free, and you can take a look at the solution. As I mentioned, also Automation Anywhere University is also free. So this is a place where you can expand your knowledge in very short snippet courses as well, to learn a little more about automation and its how you would work with it, whether you're a business analyst or whether you are a citizen developer or whether you are a experienced developer. There's courses that spread the gamut to help you understand more about how you might apply automation. And then, if I think about our customers, I work with customers of all different stripes and scale. And I've heard from them that it's one of those solutions where it's easiest to get started in your line of business. The business knows the best what areas are time consuming, monotonous, that they would want to automate. So while starting in the business is always great, we won't have real success unless there's also an interaction with IT. Of course, IT wants to treat things like a software solution, with release schedules and gates to release. So there's a place in the middle for automation, and this is where it takes a mindset change. Or making sure that you are enabled to move with speed and velocity by working closely with your business, your transformational teams, but also working hand in hand with IT. IT needs to be empowered with automation tools as well, because they're going to know best how to release solutions that are durable, that keep good software development lifecycle concepts in mind. So it's that marrying of the business expertise and the IT experience that really brings durable automation, because automation is something that you can then lean on those business leads to support you along the way, because they're going to know when that changes. One of the ways we like to think about automation is as a digital worker. That digital worker should also have a manager. So within those lines of business, it's ideal that you design your digital workers for a manager to hire and maybe fire, but also to understand the changes that might happen in that process right at the ground level. So these aren't necessarily just software solutions like leveraging an API or something like a MuleSoft connectivity software. It really is a digital worker. So you want it to have ownership, you want it to have responsibilities, and you want to know when it's providing value and be assessed. So it can either be continued, expanded, or deprecated and move on.
And on the similar lines, Holly, there are a bunch of questions that we have gotten right now.
Oh, great. Let's jump
So the first question that I can see in the question panel is that what type of business outcomes you should expect, and how do you measure them when we are using automation?
I can start. So first of all, we have Bot Insight, which enables you to tag your automations. So every time that automation runs, it calculates, and you've assigned that it has a particular value. Maybe it's hours saved, maybe it's dollars saved, and so you get that ability to calculate your return on investment. Many of our customers use APIs to then plug this into even visualization tools like a Tableau or a Power BI, so that they can then visualize these in a more expansive fashion with other data sets. So, and the value is usually the core foundation for measurement is dollars, but I don't want to dismiss hours saved or other intangibles like experience for your workers, your human workers.
That makes sense. There is one question, another one. Does Automation Anywhere or Royal Cyber have a framework that pro-level bots should adhere to? Asif, you can start this, and then Holly can chime in.
All right. Yeah. Yes. We have a framework, or working with any development partner with experience can help here, and we are definitely having a process through which like automating something is one thing, but keeping it running without a lot of maintenance activity is also the key. So bot has to be designed in a way that it, like, there will be failures. We cannot say a bot that developed will never be failed. But in case of a failure, will the bot be able to handle, and is it developed in a way that it not only reports the stakeholders about the failure, it also will not wait for any human intervention for the cleanup and retrial. It should be designed in a way that it will not be stuck and not let itself or other processes to use that machine later on. So there, what we do is we develop a bot in a way that it keeps the state of the transactions it is processing uh, defined and clearly notifiable.
Mhm.
And uh, either that failed state can be handled out of an automated program that manually, or it can be resolved by a reattempt mechanism, or it cannot, if it is not be uh, processable by the bot without making any change in the bot, other cases that it needs to work on should not be stuck because of one failed transaction. So eh, the kind of framework we use keeps track of this. Holly, do you want to
Mhm.
add anything?
I'll just add that on Automation Anywhere University, we have a course called Building Resilient Bots. It's a great quick course to take to get you familiar with the kinds of resilient design that Royal Cyber would help implement. And then also on our docs page, which is publicly available, docs.automationanywhere.com, we have a number of different pages that speak to best practices around design as well.
Mhm. We have another question which is related to machine learning and automation. The machine learning algorithm that auto insurance process has, is it part of automation anywhere? If not, which tool was used?
All right, so the use case I talked about the auto insurance had two machine learning
Yes.
components. One was to read the police report. That was done through IQBot, that is Automation Anywhere's product. The other
Mhm.
segment where it was taking certain decisions for the likelihood of fraud or not, it was done through a tool called Data Robot. Uh, we, I mean, there can be other tools in the market that can be used for that. Data Robot is one, and that's not part of Automation Anywhere's suite.
But I will add that
Okay.
Data Robot is one of our technology alliance partners. So many
Right.
of those types of solutions we work closely with. Automation Anywhere builds robotic process automation software. We don't want to espouse to be making those kind of intelligent decisions that some other experts make. Although IQBot does have that ability to sort of learn as it goes when it looks for those common solutions, common data points in a form.
Mhm. Another question that we have is that how are bots initiated? Queue-based, schedule-based, through custom APIs?
I'll let you take that one, Asif.
Holly, should I take it? All
Yeah,
right.
go ahead.
Okay. I briefly touched on this subject. I can talk about it more. There are multiple ways of triggering a bot. So uh, there can be bots that you want to trigger on a human click, maybe. Like Holly was discussing a case where a customer service rep was on a phone call and wanted to get things done, maybe change an address in multiple applications. So that's one type of triggering by a human click, because we that is something when someone wants to do can be done. Uh, the most usual way of triggering a bot is a time-based bot. We schedule a bot to run at a specific time, at a specific day, maybe whatever. There is a flexible way of configuring through the control room in Automation Anywhere, that how and when you want to trigger a specific bot and on which bot runner you want to run it. Or if you want to run it on multiple bot runners together, there is of course a way of doing that also.
Mhm.
uh, there are ways of getting a bot triggered on certain actions, uh, and like on receiving a certain file or on receiving an email, or there is a more technical way of triggering a bot through an API. So that's what I was talking about when I was saying through the chat bot we triggered bots, because on a specific question, chatbot needs to trigger a specific bot to get that information from the backend system.
Mhm.
Holly, do you
I
want to
see.
add anything?
I
Yeah,
think
please.
we're almost out of time, are we? Or do we have more time? Help me out, John.
We can cover last question because I think
Great.
it makes a lot of sense, and I think a lot of audiences out there might be interested in this. What vertical markets are most relevant for automation and why?
I see this across all vertical markets, but I must say the ones that have the heaviest loads of data, whether it be banking or healthcare, seem to reap the most benefit because they work in such volumes of data. So that is some of the easiest applications of automation. But not to be said, we see manufacturing organizations that are looking to transform, or maybe they don't want to change those old legacy applications. I have customers who a legacy application had to be updated for various reasons. That update, which was required due to compliance or technology, went from a system that took 3 clicks to 20 clicks. And so they applied automation. They saved a lot of money that way. They got to just update the old legacy system, keep it in place, and not have to rip and replace. So there's a lot of different places where automation can be applied. And through conversations with some of our partners like Royal Cyber, you can really find these solutions. And then I'll say the line of business that is the most beneficial as a place to start is going to be finance, because that's where you're going to deal with data that needs to be processed at volumes that fluctuate to an SLA, like a quarter end or a fiscal year end, and where you don't want to make mistakes because we're talking with usually numbers.
All right. So I think now we can conclude. We have covered all the questions. Some of them we have already covered in the beginning. So with that, we have come to an end of this webinar. If you have joined late and missed any of the insightful conversation, do not worry, we'll have this webinar saved as a webcast on all of our social verticals. So don't forget to follow us over there. At the end of the webinar, you'll see a questionnaire on your screen with 4 to 5 questions. Make sure you fill it out. And if you have any further queries, feel free to reach out to us at info@royalcyber.com. And in 3 seconds, I'll be ending this webinar. 3, 2, 1. Thank you so much.